Hi guys, we have a cool topic today. I was just working on this song which is getting closer to the finish line. Yay! And I stumbled upon gate situation, and it was something I was kind of struggling with. I had a lot of like cymbals coming in, so I just went and dove into it, and it's really cool what I managed to do, and I want to show you. So let's just go ahead and have a listen to the gated sound, and then I'm going to reverse engineer it and show you how I got there. I'm soloing the snares. And together, it's when you play, it sounds like this. So I'm quite happy with the sound I'm getting. There's no hi-hats or any cymbals kind of sneaking into the snare. I want to show you because gating is pretty simple thing. Basically, gate helps us just isolate sounds in a situation of a drum kit. Like we want to have the snare separate, and we want to have the kick separate, and we want to have certain elements separate. The toms of the drums, you can see here, I'm editing it. I'm just cutting and just leaving the place, so I don't have to use a gate, because gate is processing, and if you can avoid it, if you can do things with editing, sometimes it's you get a better sound, clear sound. But with tom-toms, there's not so many anyway, so it's just easier for me to edit. So for example, it's very simple to cut and then. So I'm using the FABFILTER Pro G. What's cool about it is I'm using sidechain between them. I have two tracks of the snare recorded. By the way, these drums were recorded by a really cool guy named AJ from Las Vegas. We're gonna hear more about this guy later. I'm gonna release the song. He mic'd the snare twice. So the top snare is more likely to get all kind of interference from different cymbals and stuff because it's more exposed. I'm getting a cleaner feed from the side. I'm going to turn off the gates. Let's hear side. Of course, you're going to have some leakage. You're going to have some bass drum, and you're going to have some other part of the kit inside. But what we're looking for is that there is a bigger difference between the snare and the other hits. That helps us isolate. Okay, and you're right, you can say, hey, you can edit, you know, fine, you want to edit, go ahead, do it yourself. There's a limit to what I want to do. I like to cut the tom-toms and use gates to get the sound, because it also creates some kind of a sound. Either you like it or not. Our ears are already got used to it. Most of the music I grew up listening to was made using gates when editing was not necessarily that common in the old school days. So there's no reason why we can't use gates. It's actually going to benefit the music. Let's listen to the snare top. So one thing for sure, there's a lot of cymbals. You agree? You see how many... This stuff needs to go. If I were to wanting to isolate that snare, I would better use something else to trigger the gate, right? Some cleaner sound, because it's going to be a bit hard to get that heat with all these cymbals. This is why we have the sidechain section, and you can see that there is the expert section. You just click on it and it comes off. Let's turn on the snare. Let's do a first comparison again, just for you to hear it again. Snare side. Snare top. Okay, I feel like I have a better sound on the side, so I'm going to use that to trigger the top. But let's turn on the gates. Okay, this is the side gated, this is the top gated. Okay, so together they sound like this, by the way, gated. With music. Okay, so the thing about drum sound is that you always have to listen to it in the bigger picture. Why? Because maybe it doesn't sound good when you isolate things alone, but like there are overheads and there are other microphones and they complete the sound of the snare. So sometimes all you need is like a good pook, 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 a good knock, so you can trigger reverb, and then the rest of the sound comes from the rest of the kit. Okay, this is just my approach. So how do I do it? I'm going to the snare top. And in this expert, I go from internal sidechain to external sidechain, okay? And then I go to top and I tell him, get the sidechain from the snare side, okay? So now basically the top one is getting the sidechain from the snare side. So now it's being triggered by that. Let's see it, okay? So let's go for top. And then I do addition. And interesting, suddenly I hear in the audition, I can move between them. If I'm going for the internal, I'm hearing with the sidechain of the snare top, just its own signal goes into the sidechain. But if I trigger the external and I'm listening in the audition, I'm hearing the snare side, which is a much more like cleaner sound, I would say, like a clearer snare. So then I can just isolate it. Again, we're talking about the sidechain, so it's not how the snare sounds. The snare is going to sound like this. So now it's being gated by the top. So again, together, in the context of the whole sound kit. Okay, so cool. That was the tip for today. We're talking about snare gate sidechain. I hope you learned something new. I really dig it. I feel like that's gonna upgrade my flow. That is something I knew existed back in the day when I was studying, but now it really becomes more clear what the possibilities are. Keep doing your thing and enjoy your musical creation. I'm Tom, and peace out.